Hello, I'm back. Thank you for being patient. To all my regulars who know how I do, I'm sometimes, not sometimes, probably most of the time late. But anyway, we're doing this reading on Mac Miller, okay? I wanted to basically write this information down. So y'all know how I usually do, basically just write down his name, date of birth, and I'm also putting down Ariana as well, her information. Mac Miller, the interesting story about Mac Miller's death is when, I don't know if too many people remember where they were when he died, but I will say that I was someplace really special, funny enough. And I'm not going to get into too much details about it, but I'll say it like this, that basically I found out that Mac Miller passed away when I was at another rapper's house. I'll just say it like that. And it was just kind of like really eerie to kind of like go through that shit, like just to all of a sudden, be around someone, or to be doing something professionally, and the next thing you know, there's another rapper that's dead. And I just didn't want to, because a lot of people were asking me to do a reading on Mac like 2 years, and I just kind of felt like I didn't want to like violate his space. Does that make sense at the time? Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that so much. But it's like just to violate his space and stuff. So I just kind of felt like, let him be what it is, let him do his thing for the time being. I kind of feel like his energy is in a better space right now, to where I feel like we can focus on that. We can focus on his energy. So is he a Capricorn or is he an Aquarius? Because he's on the 19th. And I feel like maybe that might be Capricorn energy. But, I kind of do feel like that, he has like a lot of flighty energy as well. But you guys tell me like what y'all think. Are y'all getting that he's more of a Capricorn? Or are you getting that he's more of like on the Aquarius side? Because I know that's like kind of borderline. Oh, thank you for the happy birthday. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for being patient. Oh, Aquarius rising, no shit. Because I was just like, that's interesting. He has very, very flighty ass energy. So Google says he's a Capricorn, no problem. So let me I want to find that night. I don't know why, but I feel like I need to find, so here's what I'm doing right now, just to let y'all understand how I'm setting it up. So he is currently, since he's a Capricorn, we're using the King of Pentacles. But I'm looking for this Knight of Swords, which I found just now. Just to kind of like edge out that Aquarius, because I felt like that Aquarius energy, he has an Aquarius rising, just like me. So that's kind of interesting. And I just kind of really wanted to get into that rebellious energy, basically. So I'm just going to put this in his subconscious mind, basically, and see what we can get from the energy for this reading. All right. So I'm going to just focus on Mac's energy. Okay, he's like, set up the candles. Sorry, gotta set up the candles. Do what they ask. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everybody in the mood and comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Nice and relaxed, and everybody just, in Zen mode, you know what I'm saying? Like feeling real sexy right now, Shout out to the sex crew. You know what I'm saying? All right, come on, Mac, let's do this. So basically, I just want to focus on Mac Miller's energy. Just focus on your energy. Just figure out what's going on with you, what you prefer to talk about, what is on your mind pertaining to your life, or anything that you need to say in this moment. All right, so let me just turn these over. Okay, so that's those. I'm sorry, I'm just making sure I have my other deck basically, so I can have those on standby. Initially, he seems to be talking about a couple of things, so I'm going to show you guys right here. He is initially talking about the Five of Pentacles, which would indicate that he feels that there is something off about his financial situation or possibly within his own career, that he's kind of acknowledging about like himself, or just acknowledging different aspects of what he initially was taking care of. I feel like he keeps saying that he was taking care of someone else's, I guess, problems as well, if that makes sense, or someone was also influencing specific behavior around him, especially with spending, or just even with aspects of just doing frivolous things. I don't know. He's just kind of like reflecting back on certain energies and talking about aspects of people who handle his money poorly, and people who have probably done something to kind of like, I guess you could say, fuck with him, or just fuck with his peace of mind, and he wasn't really expecting that, because he's kind of showing me that he had to go through this transition of moving in the past, and this is kind of just reflecting on his life like prior to his death. It's just something to where I kind of feel like he had to detach from certain things in order to finally try to like figure out like what's going on, I guess, or trying to understand the truth. His in the root, he's showing me the Sun card. He is showing me that he's much happier. He's in a much more like happy space, if that makes sense, than where he was initially. Like he feels more. When I was tapping into his energy at one point, I just kind of felt like he was very restricted. Like, and it's so crazy because I just recently saw this, what's this video, Self-Care, and I've been playing it nonstop. And really, I didn't even get a chance to really listen to his music other than listening to a tune that he did with the internet. And I was like jamming that out for like about 2 years after he passed. But even when I was like looking in my third eye and looking at him, I'm just like, I don't think he's ready yet to talk or anything, because he was just very much like, I guess you could say, it's so weird because it just looked like he was kind of like curled up in a ball, you know what I'm saying? Like curled up in a ball, and just like, I just felt like there was a lot of trauma around him. Kind of, it's similar to the video, but it's like he had dirt on him and like different things like that too. But it's just like there's some sort of it's like something that he's kind of explaining to me as far as like what's happening in the aspect of like his childhood. And maybe this is something that's like very deep, because I feel like when I'm getting into this energy, it's relating to his career and his childhood. And at the end of the day, it just feels like there's like some aspects of, I guess you could say like programming, even though he was happy to do what he did, like he was happy to do the things that he did, but he realized that there's like this aspect of, or there's like this different aspect of how certain things affect like your childhood, or how you're brought up in your childhood. But it's like you're set up to program to do that shit. Like you're programmed to infiltrate like certain aspects of success, and people already train you for it prior to that, or you're assigned it. Maybe this might make sense to someone else, but it's like a very obscure description about like, again, choices, family making choices on even on his behalf, or even taking advantage of those choices. I don't know why I need to specify that, but I am. And then he's also showing me the Judgment card. Maybe he's also, with the Sun card, from what he's explaining to me, is like kind of being happy at the end result of what's to come for certain people. Because whenever I see that Judgment card, you know, it seems that he has something to finish. And I'm just going to say it like that without saying too much. I don't know why, but I'm just trying to interpret whatever that is. So anyway, just to put my plug in really quick before we continue. As I stated before in my other readings before. You can ask questions below. Y'all already know how Mike basically did the whole super chat. Y'all can donate. Y'all can definitely, hit me up on PayPal at queenprodigy369 at Gmail. If you need to reach out to me, that is also for PayPal to make payments for $40 for 30 minutes. If you would like a personal consultation, IG is queenprodigy0369. Okay, so back to the reading. Let me see if there's anything in the comments. That's what I usually do. I try to scroll through. Just give me a minute. And thank you guys for being patient. I had a lot of readings going on, and it was my birthday. So I appreciate you guys being patient for about, a good week and letting me recoup my life really quick. So I appreciate that. Let me see. Love Gigi, your reading is accurate. Okay. Still is just a good question. Okay, so everybody want to talk about Nipsey Hussle. Guess what? This reading is for Mac Miller. If I said anything about Nipsey Hussle, please refer to my Nipsey Hussle videos. And that is all I have to say. Moving forward, I just want to focus on the aspect of relationships for him and Ariana. And then we'll move forward from that point. Okay, so just give me 1 second while I grab these out. I feel like he had a lot that he was explaining within his career. I feel like there's certain, independently on some level, there was some aspects of having more control. But I do feel like it's like there's so much pain that this man has gone through that I just kind of feel like he had no choice but to make good, beautiful music. He made beautiful music, very just extraterrestrial mixed with natural acoustics, different things like that. And I kind of realized that he looks at music in a way from a space of a very religious experience. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, exactly what that means per se. But even when I was listening to Self-Care, the lyrics were talking about, by September, I'll fall. You know what I'm saying? It's what's going on with most of these rappers who know, and okay, I'll say, what's going on with these rappers who know or are all of a sudden in videos and coffins and things like that, and they kind of sense what's going on or what's, coming up for them, or, they're doing these ritualistic things, I guess you could say, to appease a specific order or a specific thought process. I just kind of feel like people aren't putting certain things together, but it's kind of in this space that it's looking at a major. It's you look at aspects of signing with a major on a different level, but even some of these independent companies be on some shiesty shit too. So, yeah, but let me focus on Ariana. I'm sorry. Ooh, oh, okay. I'm gonna show you guys. All right, this is gonna be very. It seems like this is a very toxic thing in regards to what's happening with his feelings towards Ariana. So here we go. This is his card. So Ariana is a Cancer. Her birthday is June 26th, 1993. Okay. I wanted to know his thoughts on her, what's going on with that. Hostilities. I will look further into this, what exactly why. He seems to have a bit of hostile energy towards her. And I can kind of already see on some level why. I think that he feels that he was somewhat deceived by her, because he keeps pointing to this, the thinking man in the past. And I would kind of indicate that maybe this is somebody that she was seeing in her past and maybe coming back around her, and maybe he's upset about that, I would assume. talks about trying to say that certain people were supposed to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? Like he felt like he was pouring out his heart or most of his sensitive energy into this person, and instead, he got nothing but fire in return. Because I kind of feel like he was extremely hurt that he wasn't chosen. That's just what I keep hearing, like extremely hurt. And it's like, I have to find out from the world that you no longer are, that you're just basically walking away from me. So he's extremely upset, like extremely upset, you know what I'm saying? It was a very critical time for him because I feel like basically he had no choice but to try to maintain his strength in public, even though he was a fucking mess. He's saying that to me over and over again. I was a complete utter mess, and I think that she knew how to use my love. Basically, she just knew how to destroy me. Like, she knew that I loved her so much, and she just wanted to destroy me. And that's how he feels about that. So, any other questions in regards to Ariana Grande? Clearly, people got a lot on their mind. Let's see. She was milking his energy. Okay. They look ahead without understanding the meaning. But the common woman him and Mac Miller have is Karen Civil. Okay, so who is this? Okay, so is Karen Civil like a manager? Because I know that you guys mentioned her prior in with Nip as well. So remind me who she is, because I hear her name often. I just don't be remembering people like I worship them. So she found Mac Miller when he died. Oh, so is that what that whole page of Pentacles is showing up in the situation? Because initially it was talking about poor management of money, but also I kind of feel like family wasn't necessarily enabling a safety net like they should have been as well. I don't know. It's just kind of, it feels like, how can I say it? It's not, it just doesn't feel like a strong unit behind him. Like he has, I kind of feel like when it comes down to family or when it comes down to friends in the industry per se, he feels closer to people like that. But it just seems, it's not to say that he doesn't love family and certain things like that. That's true. But it just feels like there's just certain people that should have been investing in him a little bit more. And they just seem to be in their own world. That's just what I keep seeing around him. Like, it's kind of lonely, you know what I'm saying? Like a bit, like very lonely. Extremely lonely. Let's see. So basically people heard that his blunt was laced, but people were saying that the pills were done with fentanyl. I mean, obviously, it's quite obvious that this was like a horrible drug deal gone wrong. And I'm like, it's so obvious. I have no need to like really speak on that. And especially with him going through so much, I kind of feel like he was like dealing with this space of like purgatory in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? Like this space of purgatory, not really being able to move around so much. But I feel like there's just like a lot of just trauma, just certain childhood trauma, and even just throughout his adulthood. Speaking of which, I wanted to mention aspects of the media, because I feel like the media really did a lot to like pick on him and to kind of generalize him in a way. And I just kind of feel really bad about that. Because I think that he was a unique talent. He couldn't be compared to Eminem and to all these other rappers. And, he just seems like a really decent person, humble person. Probably didn't have the most rough beginnings like everybody else in the industry does. But I kind of feel like he, wanted to just have his own unique perspective when he initially came into the industry, it was very like, he was like, that's just very Justin Bieber. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Certain things like that I did, like, it's just to kind of like push through. So he's absolute about recognizing that. But in the same sense, too, he knows that he's very talented. He's like, underneath all that bubblegum bullshit, like, I know that I'm good at what I do. You know, like, I enjoy making real music, and I just wanted people to see me for the music instead of seeing me for just this Jewish white guy, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm feeling from him. But I appreciate the music. So just talking about his death, I'm placing the death part on his crown. Alright. So let me just show y'all really quick. So this is him acknowledging, as I said it before, acknowledging his death. It's interesting because even with this Six of Swords, it's kind of like he's acknowledging saying goodbye. Like acknowledging saying goodbye for whatever reason. And it's like I said, extremely deliberate, basically, from what he could tell, because he knows that it's only a matter of time, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's basically, he keeps saying it's only a matter of time. It's kind of like the Three of Swords is in the root, so basically it's like being in this space of, I guess you can say, just going through so many aspects of suffering that you just don't give a fuck, you know, like you just don't really care, because all that matters to certain people is just money. He knows that maybe he could have done better to, you know, look after himself or try to protect himself, but he feels like people failed him that were supposed to be looking out for him and protecting him. So he feels like he really didn't have that love that he thought, you know, he had. Again, being very generous with his finances, but also at the same time too, I feel like a lot of people took advantage of the aspect of him drinking or, you know, doing a bit of liquor. I feel like he was kind of doing his best to like backtrack away from certain things. But I just feel like when it comes down to what's going on with, you know, with this particular overdose and everything like that, it just kind of feels like something stops his heart, like stopping his heart, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like really affecting him, like just really changing him. But I feel like people keep coming in and out of this space, if that makes sense. So someone, even though I know that people are saying, oh, the manager found him like this and all this other stuff like that, I feel like either there was someone else there that was keeping him company, or like someone of an interest, because I keep seeing a female, and then I'm also seeing a male energy like coming in and out of the room, but also probably taking things with him, like say that maybe there's a female with him and the guy's a seller or something like that. It's something to that effect. And then, but it's just kind of, it's a strange layup, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I just kind of feel like certain people were watching, like, and I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but it's just like, I felt like people were just seriously like just waiting for him to like, just do it already, you know? So I just kind of feel like, and I hate to say it like that, you know what I'm saying? And rest his soul, you know, but I just kind of feel like he was for real being like set up a certain way because of aspects, you know, pertaining to finances and money, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's trying to make it seem like, oh, everything's all good, you know, we have all these great opportunities coming in, And, you know, like, this is going to be a great celebration, you know what I'm saying? And then basically they put all this bullshit in front of him that seems to be normal to him, that he would probably fuck with. And then, you know, his death. Like, it's like taking advantage of his, I don't know, I just kind of feel like just taking advantage of his kindness, or just like, because he's very sensitive. That's another thing too that a lot of people don't recognize is with his energy, I feel like he's extremely psychic. And it is murder, absolutely. But of course they're gonna just pin it on the drug dealers and then it's gonna go away. But it's bigger than that. I honestly feel like it's definitely bigger than that. You know, it's like, what good is that gonna do, basically? Everything is all about, like, it's like for him, he keeps showing me like music was supposed to be about something that's supposed to be enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even a process of wanting to, you know, for sales or anything. And he understands the aspect of that, you know, of course, but he just wanted to be in it to enjoy it. And I think he just kind of got, you know, bored. So many people were just trying to control him, if that makes sense. The same thing happened to same thing just happened to Andre Harrell. What? So wait a minute, you trying to tell me that Andre was an overdose too? Because I meant to do a reading on him, but I didn't even get a chance to jump into that. They don't want people to make a positive change in music. Yeah, they're killing them off. You're absolutely right. And that's what I'm saying too. Like, they keep trying to put out this this synthetic sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this synthetic music, and stopping all like the natural music and like the frequencies that will elevate you to another space. And can you imagine that you have this goal of wanting to awaken people's minds, but at the same time too, you have to like give up so much of yourself in order to share that, you know? That's a huge message. Like I said before, I just keep thinking about rappers with $10 million deals for some reason, and just looking at, do people have to perform certain aspects of performance in order to get that money, or in order to sign their life away? Why am I asking this? Because he deliberately said, oh, I don't want to be a part of the 27 Club. He died at 26. You know? And I'm just like, you trying to tell me that, like, for a price, like, you could just make, you know, make a wish, basically? And I'm assuming maybe it's on the trajectory of feeling like he just wants to have happiness. He wants to find happiness, you know, and be happy and be in love. But I just kind of feel like he experienced so much that it's kind of like, this is what they want anyway. You know what I mean? I don't know why. It's very heartbreaking. It's extremely, that's the feeling that I get. It's extremely heartbreaking, basically. I'm going to tell you, so here's his card right here, okay? He was tired, and I think these people knew it, okay? They're showing me that they were deceiving him, okay? Using him or taking certain aspects of money, or fucking with he keeps saying fucking with my fucking marketing. He's pretty pissed. Like, he's pretty pissed. And he did a lot to put himself out there and to do different things like that. But I just kind of feel like, I don't know, the media was real, like, just being a real petty bitch towards him. Just trying to put him in that space of depression, and it didn't help. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just felt like a constant hazing process. Like, it was just weird, and he just wanted to get away, you know, just get away from all of that nonsense, just get away from all of the politics in music. You know, there's no need for it. It made it very ugly for him. He's talking about, like, there's just an over access of, women and sex and drugs and, just the music. Like, it's constant. It doesn't stop. And it's fun in the beginning, but then it turns into a tormenting hell because you can't express yourself. You can't really do and say how you really feel. And so there would just be times where he would just like get up and just dip, like just gone about his business. And I kind of feel like simply because of the fact that he wanted to just like go about his life and just roam freely, that created some aspects of trouble for him. But I just kind of feel like he's like, I'm going to follow my heart. Like, even in death, he's like, I'm following my heart. I'm following my happiness. And I'm going to heal from that regardless, because I was working on healing from that in that present form. But I just kind of feel like people, it's like people, as much as they say, he's talking about self-care, and he's singing in a coffin, it's like even then he knows that he's going to find a space to like heal himself after all of these struggles, or after people constantly trying to pull him, back into a fucked up environment where he's trying to remove himself from all of these different toxins. And it's so accessible, you know what I mean? And it's a perfect storyline for other people, or, them $10 million deals. I don't know what that's about. There's something about these $10 million deals. This dude dies at 26. I did, adding up his number, he died on the number 36, which is interesting. But funny enough, another rapper died on the number 26. You know what I'm saying? That's coming up very soon. It's just like certain things just kind of, have like this particular pattern. Even like the whole fentanyl thing, with Peep and him, like all these drug situations that are going on. But it just feels like something else is like, yes, maybe some certain people have habits. Maybe certain people do, dabble in some shit. But I just don't feel like some of these rappers are that irresponsible enough to purposely take their life. I personally feel like there's certain rappers that have signed deals or made bets, I'll say it like that, who have made bets behind the scenes as far as like trying to, exist in the industry, and it just kind of feels very mob-like. I don't know why, but that's just like the feeling that I get. It's just like a lot of mob nonsense. Like just a lot of mob politics behind the industry. That's just like the feeling that I get. It's just a lot of mob politics behind the industry. And it's just like, what a lot of people don't recognize is that with these like majors is that like, they see all of these situations as like pedigree. You understand? Like, this is just on the basis of pedigree for them. It's all a game. So it's just really fucked up. Because he just really wanted to just be in a space of finding his own personal freedom. Let's see. I didn't like when he signed that deal. He used to be so set on being independent. I feel like he was forced. I agree with that too. I feel like that was a situation to where it's again dealing with attachments. Feeling somewhat attached to I don't know, it's just like it's like dealing with some aspect of bondage. I don't know why I'm saying that, but like just dealing with aspects of bondage, knowing that he has to like fulfill something and he needs to go on the path of healing it. And he is showing me that he is using Archangel Metatron within his third eye to find success and love and happiness in his life. You know what I'm saying? He just wants to be in a world where he can just be free without having to, without having to deal with contracts or anything, because it just takes so much out of his soul. And that's kind of what he's showing me. Like, it just takes so much, all of that stuff takes so much out of my soul. And it just doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? There's something about signing with a major. It's just kind of like, I don't know. There's just a lot of death, you know what I mean? And it's just like, is that on purpose? Or is that to scare people, like, from signing from a, with a major or whatever? I don't know. Let me see. Freemason Scientology masters with numbers. Interesting. I got downloads that. I got when his last album dropped. What does that mean? I don't know. Maybe you were transforming. Maybe he was taking you to another space. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing. I kind of feel like he's like so much like in this space of like being a hippie. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very much like he knows how to heal or heal beyond certain things, especially after he's gone through so many aspects of life. But I just feel like that his musical genius couldn't be understood, and I feel him like how he feels about this whole situation with like Ariana, because because he cares for her, he loves her, it's like all this other stuff, but it's like I'm just surprised that I guess that he couldn't see it simply because of the fact that everything is so. He makes, no offense, but he makes real music. Ariana's music sounds very clueless or like very bubblegum girl. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I don't know. It feels very bubblegum girl. I don't know how to describe it, but very pop. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he makes, I don't know, he just makes some real shit. That's all I'm trying to say. Is Ariana and family in the 13 family Rothschilds? I'm not too sure about that. I have no idea. Do any of you guys know? Because that's the first time I'm hearing some shit like that. But I do feel like there's certain families and hierarchies that actually do program their children into being entertainers. And they have like a decent amount of money. It's not to say that they're like lower middle class, probably more higher middle class or like upper, wealth. They program their children. And I kind of feel like this is like one of these aspects of this person, this person being programmed into contractual assignments, I guess you can say. Yeah, they winning like crazy. I mean, first of all, let's be for real. Okay, first of all, Mac dies, okay? Then all of a sudden you dating some nigga from Disney that apparently, according to Mac, was in the background. And then on top of that, too, you done blowed up the people at the tours and things. And you putting on all types of Disney, Mickey Mouse, all types of things like that. Listen, I ain't saying nothing about the girl. All I'm saying is, certain things, when them things go together, it just look kind of strange. And that's all I'm trying to say. Certain things just look kind of off. You know what I mean? So this is interesting because I kind of feel like when it comes down to that particular situation, again, female energy, maybe it could be mother or manager or something of that nature. It's kind of like introducing certain people or certain women. It's like certain things are planned according to them. You know what I'm saying? And it's based on the aspect of pleasure. It is. But it's far deeper. You know what I'm saying? The hanged man is usually talking about like setting people's emotions up in order to just like, you know what I'm saying? Just hang them upside down, basically. And just patiently waiting for that to go in accordance. It's so weird. It's like this whole story, like how your life can like kind of turn into this weird story, like this strange Truman Show type shit. Like that's kind of what I feel when I'm doing the cards for his energy. It just feels like a weird Truman Show shit. Like you don't have any control over your creativity or whatever you have going on. And then you're around somebody who acts fake, but they say that they love you. Like, it's just a lot of like flaky shit. Yeah, and that's how I feel. Anyway. Like, she's a cute girl. Like, don't get me wrong, and it looks so cute. Like, oh, the camera's there. Let me kiss you. And like, it's very cute, but it's very bubblegum, nonsense. Just a lot of bubblegum drama. And it's just like, do you really care? You know what I'm saying? It's like him trying to figure that out. It was very complicated for him to figure that out. Like, are you doing this for the cameras or are you being serious right now? And I just think that when she made certain decisions and kind of voiced certain things and said, oh, I'm not your mother, I'm not going to help you go through this, you need to be a man, like very dismissive of his suffering. And I think that she was dealing with somebody else and he knows it now. And he's kind of calling her out on that. Like, you were seeing this person that you were allegedly engaged to prior for quite some time, so don't play me. And he's extremely hurt by that. Again, extremely hurt. Again, okay, here it is, like, that I'm gonna show you guys with this situation. Look, it's the same thing that I showed up before with Ariana. Okay, look, see? Fighting, getting into arguments, having to find things out on the internet instead of actually coming to talk to him personally. Again, this is a card that I was using in his subconscious mind the last time, okay? So that just indicates that we're focused on his energy and he's addressing her. False promises about stability, saying that you will always be there and you're not there. And he's just extremely upset about that. All of the burdens that he had to go through by himself. And also, I just kind of feel like that he had to be in this space of letting all of that go when he transitioned. And it's like he keeps saying that I'm ceasing aspects of, of conversation because I already know that you're moving on and you're just focused on your money. Like, that's what it is. You just focused on niggas that want more money, that have more money, instead of actually following your heart, and that's where you fucked up. But he just keeps saying that he has his justice in some sort of a way because he's found a way to finally get balance within himself, and to kind of like start a new foundation for himself. So it's kind of like him watching and laughing at somebody and how their life is just kind of portrayed into this oblivious fantasy, instead of actually truly making a decision to follow your heart despite what people say about you. Yeah, so that is my reading. That's the reading for Mac Miller. I don't see any other questions here. Let's see. Okay. Well, I had no idea Ariana was running around licking donuts and things, but okay. I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know. I'm gonna just put that out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on. But she never loved him. I mean, like I said, there were times where they had like cute little pictures and stuff, but clearly there's a lot of, fighting, a lot of, passion. But I think that he really cared for her. He really expected her to like come through, like that's kind of like what I keep feeling with him. Like he was really expecting this woman to like have this connection with him and put all this industry bullshit aside and be human. And she doesn't know how to do that. And it's very sad. It's just a very heartbreaking situation. But I think he's learning to heal from that because he's just seeing how, messed up people are for the sake of fame instead of following their hearts for love. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like he keeps looking at her like, you're supposed to keep it real with me. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep it real. And you don't know how to keep it real. You rather focus on money or keep certain secrets and, be a part of this whole dynamic of working with people. It's just fucked up. It's just really fucked up. Let me see what this says. I asked a question on Cashapp. Did you receive it? I'm sorry. Let me see what this is. I'm sorry, honey. Oh, okay. So you're talking about Vince or Earl, Earl Sweatshirt. What's Earl's birthday, by the way? But I feel like, okay, He's like, yeah, like, and but he's also saying schoolboy as well. He's showing me like TDE schoolboy. He's showing me like a lot of people on like the West Coast, like showing a lot of love. Like he got love, especially like even in the East Coast too. It wasn't, but I just kind of feel like he was more able to relax on West Coast, if that makes sense. So let's see. He's a Pisces. Okay. I was about to like do my thing and end this, but I will do your question for you, my dear, because you did donate. And like I said, I support people who fuck with me, who donate, you know what I'm saying, who get readings from me instead of calling these major places that charge you $10 for 50 minutes. And you know what I'm saying, you don't get enough of your time and stuff. Like, all you gotta do is just hit a girl up and support black-owned businesses, and mama gonna take care of you. It's very simple. So let me see if I can find Earl Sweatshirt's card really quick, okay? All right, I'm gonna use that one. I don't remember if it's Schoolboy or Juicy J, but one of them. Yeah, I think, I'm not too sure either, but does his ex know about if he was set up? I don't know. Do you have Nomi's birthday? Do you know her sign or anything? Like I said, I can try. Oh, Lord, I can try to. Sometimes I have to like go off and do something. People, now that's when people want to be extra. Anyway, so I'm already like agitated, forgive me, but I'm just trying to get this out of the way. Moving forward. So let's look at Earl really quick. I will look at Nomi and see if that's something that people know about, but yeah. So let's focus on if he misses anybody, misses certain friends, certain people of that nature. Alrighty. Are you answering everything all in one? Okay, so first of all, he's pulling out, again, if you're talking about Pisces energy, because it keeps showing me this King of Cups that came up, so I'm assuming that's a yes. I don't know if Vince is a fire sign or not, but show me this Knight of Wands, and basically just focused on them. And he's saying that it's destined that they are that he's going to meet with certain people again, or even like work with people. They've been very busy, but he's been keeping an eye on them, or at least his close friends, if that makes sense. But he's like very much calculative. He's just very much like a part of, he's like whatever energy that people need for that musical space, we're gonna meet up again. That's the one thing that he keeps saying. Now there is this Queen of Wands in the situation. I'm going to use this Queen of Wands because you clearly stated that this Nomi person is an Aries. And I felt like he was kind of answering like no, or just like kind of being a bit dismissive about it. So I just want to clarify and see how he feels about this Nomi person that someone wants to ask about. So let's see how it goes. Why not? All right, 1 second. So he's making something extremely, I guess you can say, very clear about this particular situation. For one, I feel like he is telling her to be strong. They did have very fond memories in the past with the Sun card. But it's like they have this internal knowing about what happens in this industry, I guess you can say. And she's always in this space of trying to be supportive, or they're trying to, just be peaceful about things with each other. But the one thing that seems to get in the way between the two of them is the fact that I'm assuming she was expecting marriage or somebody was expecting marriage. And I don't think that he was in that state of mind yet. It's like there was supposed to be this opportunity in meeting this person up, and then tragedy struck, basically with the Tower card. But it was like kind of like an opportunity to like remain very good friends with one another, but then this situation happened, or just, you know, kind of stopped that opportunity for them to like really, you know what I'm saying, like really connect with each other. And I'm assuming it's just kind of hard because everything is about money. It's about, you know, all of these lavish things that he has going on, you know, in reference to his personal career and the things that he wanted to kind of build for himself on a consistent basis. But it's just this aspect of making sure that it has like a very strong foundation for himself and basically just moving forward. So it seems like it's just, you know, it seems like they have a decent situation going on. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to remain friends. But I just don't think that he was in a space of really being ready to commit like that because he has so many financial obligations. I don't know why he's mentioning that. But that's just kind of what I keep getting. So thank you to Maya for sharing that. Get your personal readings for $40 for 30 minutes with Queen at queenprodigy369 at Gmail or queenprodigy0369 on Instagram. I am tired. Can I go now? Anyway, I appreciate doing this Mac Miller reading. I really feel like with this reading and the contracts, for some reason, I keep seeing these rappers with $10 million deals and they shooting a video in a damn coffin, and then all of a sudden they got a fentanyl overdose or something crazy like that. And it's just very sad because I just kind of feel like a lot of these kids are like programmed at a very young age to perform, and it's just kind of really fucked up. But anyway, rest in peace, Mac Miller.